Hello everyone, I am Laser Dude. Welcome to another Laser Dude review. You might notice that there's no editing, there's nothing, there's no theme song, there's no anything. It's just me talking to the camera. That's because my computer is out getting fixed, so I do not have any editing software at the moment, but that's why some reviews are on hold, like my review of Shazam and my animated Dumbo review for Animated Look Back. But I just couldn't let this one go by. It's too big. It's too big to be like, wait in a couple of weeks, then you'll know my opinion. No. So this is my full unedited thoughts, which is kind of fitting because, like, Age of Ultron was also at a point where I couldn't use my computer editing program, so that one's also unedited. So I guess there's just something with these Avengers movies. Every second one, I just can't edit it. Anyways, this is my review of Avengers Endgame, and since it's been out for a couple of days, this is my spoiler warning. I don't want anybody watching this, if they haven't seen the movie yet, if you want my basic opinion, go see it. You know, if you've seen the other Marvel movies going into this, then you must see it. Nobody's going to watch the last one and say, that seems like a good place to stop. No, unless you're a psychopath. Yeah, see, this is what editing comes in handy. I would have edited that out. Anyway, but yeah, spoilers all the way through this, so let me just get it started with this movie. It knows what we think is going to happen. You know, it knows. Right off the bat, it knows what we think it's going to do. And the advertising for this movie did such a good job of not spoiling it for us. You know, it barely... Honestly, after like the second or third trailer, the one where you just see Thanos who's like, it brings you back to me, or something like that, I was just like, yep, that's all I need. Heck, what more do I need? I'm already hyped enough for this film. I don't need anything else. But anyways, for Endgame, the whole movie is such a build-up to that climax. Every part of it is building up to that amazing climax. And I like when the movie started, they're like, alright, let's go after Thanos. And they're like, okay, we got Thanos. Now what? You know? Like, where they literally just kill Thanos in the first 2 minutes, I'm just like, well, that's not how I thought it was going to go down. But it really worked. I mean, Thanos is the type of guy, he believed in his vision so much, he doesn't care what he lives or dies. He snapped half of life out of existence, and now time to snap the stones out of existence, because therefore his work cannot be undone. And then it is thanks to the most heroic character of all time, Remy the Rat. That's what I'm calling the rat. Remy, that rat who stepped on that keyboard and let Ant-Man out of the Phantom Zone, the zone thing. Oh, it's escaping my mind. Oh, well, I can't think of it right now. It'll come to me. But he comes out and he's like, hey, it's been only 5 hours for me, and the rest of the world has been 5 years, which brings up a lot of weird issues, but I'll get into that later. But yeah, so 5 years, everyone else is trying to move on, but humanity really can't because we still have all of this world that has just been destroyed. It's interesting because that scene in the trailer where like all the ships are like parked at the harbor, it says 5 years later and they're still there. Like, that's when we see it. Like, I thought the trailer was like that happened right after. It was like, no, they're just still there because no one's there to claim them. Yeah, so they think we need to do time travel. That's what we need to do. And that was when I thought, okay, now this is getting really, really interesting, especially when they go back into the other Avengers movies. I mean, I love that. I love the part where they go into the other Avengers movies, because it really is the send-off to all of these movies. This whole thing is a big goodbye and farewell and thank you for watching. It's a love letter to the fans, getting behind the scenes and things and giving me scenes that I didn't know I wanted, but I so wanted. Captain America saying Hail Hydra. That was such a good reference. It's a reference to that weird thing that they did with him in the comics, but it's also a fantastic moment. Oh, I loved it so much. And then we just have so many other things going on in this film. There were a couple of things that I found a little odd and it took a little while for me to get over them. The first thing was Hulk and Bruce being one. Yeah, I know it's a reference to things. There's a time in the comics where Bruce was as smart as Hulk and everything, but it's like, yeah, but that's not Hulk. You know, in the same way as there was a time where Beast wasn't blue in the comics. Yeah, but that's not Beast. Not in the same way. It's still Hank McCoy, but it's not Beast. That wasn't Hulk. And I was kind of disappointed in that because I wanted Hulk to get his rematch. I wanted Hulk to finally, like, Bruce to snap some sense out of the Hulk and for Hulk to finally get his rematch and go up against Thanos, but that didn't happen. They went a different route with it, which I guess was a little bit disappointing for me, but nothing too bad. I just found he didn't really get anything huge to do except for bringing everybody back. But besides that, he didn't have any humongous moments like everybody else did. But the big thing that threw me off, and I think it probably threw off a number of young ladies, was Thor's physique. I know that because of Thor Ragnarok, Thor became a humorous character. That's not where I want... Like, I got the whole thing that we're going with him. He feels like he failed the most, and so he lets his life go to crap. I would have appreciated it more if it was a darker sort of crap. Not, hey, look, I'm funny and fat now. You know? Like, it would have been, you know, like what they... Kind of similar to what they did with Hawkeye. Just Hawkeye going full on destroying stuff. Like, I don't need Thor fighting crime and being real brutal and stuff like that. He can be a drunk, but don't play it for laughs is what I'm saying. I didn't like that they did that. But those are, like, literally, like, my only complaints about this movie. I feel like maybe, though, the running time's a little long, but not because I didn't like it. It's because I didn't go to the bathroom beforehand, and I needed to go at about the first hour mark, and I held it in for 2 hours because I did not want to be the person who says, oh man, my favorite part of the movie is when this happened. It's like, that was when I was on the toilet. So I held it in for 2 hours. It hurt. It literally hurt me, but I just couldn't help I couldn't leave. Couldn't do it. Dedication to the craft. Anyway, but besides those two little things with Hulk and Thor that I didn't really care for, everything else works. Everything else in this movie is great. I love their search through all the Infinity Stones throughout time. It made it different from the first movie where they were searching for the Infinity Stones. Going into all the different movies, even the movies that nobody really likes, like Thor: The Dark World, making those scenes fun, making those scenes great. I liked that. I think that the other stuff, like how they worked into the first Avengers, that was really good. I loved that too. And all the characters, this movie goes all out to get every single character that it can and put them in the movie. It's even to the point of the small shows that nobody else watched. Am I the only one who freaked out when they saw Jarvis? Because Jarvis, for those who don't know, someone was like, oh, that was his butler. Jarvis is like, yeah, and if you watch Agent Carter, a really underrated good show, you would have known that. And so they had the actor that played Jarvis in Agent Carter play him in this movie. And it's such a tiny, quick scene, but it was so good. It made me feel like this whole franchise was coming full circle to its ending point. And it was so good. I loved it for that. All the little moments that these Russo brothers took from all the different movies and gave each of the characters their individual little moments. I mean, it's so good. It was so good. I loved every little thing that they did. And they didn't shy away from the dark stuff. Like the scene where Tony is like yelling at Cap because, he wasn't able to protect Peter and everything. It's just yelling at him. That's handled great. The whole... Okay, I'm just going to go my top 5 favorite Endgame moments. I'm just doing it off the cuff. I don't have this written down. I know what my number 1 is. I'll have to figure out the other ones as I go along. Number 5. Let's just say number 5 would be going back and meeting Tony, getting to meet his dad and give his dad advice. That was a good scene. I really liked that. It was a lot of fun. Number 4 would have to be Okay, this is what happens when you just do stuff off the cuff and you can't edit. Number 4 would be, oh man, I only have 4 minutes of time left, so I gotta be quick. Forget this. Number 1, let's just skip to number 1, is Cap wielding Mjolnir. That was flippin' incredible. When I saw it lift off the ground, I'm like, oh, that's in Cap's hands. I know they're trying to pretend like it's floating, but no, that's in flipping Captain America's hands. Holy crap, and then he just did it with a combo with a shield and the hammer. Oh, so cool. So cool, so amazing. I am Iron Man. When Iron Man finally snaps, and that's an amazing scene. It's an amazing line. And I just loved that, how that was handled and how everything in it was really just dived in upon, and I loved it. Okay, what else? I didn't necessarily like 100% of Black Widow's death. I'm whispering because my roommate's here and I don't know if he's seen it or not. But that scene, it's the one I didn't feel so emotionally invested in, but it was still sad. It still worked. I liked how they were fighting each other for whoever got to die. That was a really interesting scene. And I was dreaded for the Soul Stone scene because I knew it was like something's going to happen. They're not going to just be able to work their way around that. The number one thing that I want to say, though, is that climax, that final climax where every single character from every corner of the... Like, honestly, I was looking for the Netflix Defenders, going in this scene, because I'm like, if every single person has been on this journey with us in this Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I think that for the most part, everyone's endings gets handled pretty well. Steve's thing where he finally gets to go home with Peggy. I love that Gwyneth Paltrow was able to, Pepper Potts was able to kick some butt in the final battle. I love that they gave a great scene with... Okay, the one thing that I wanted to talk about earlier, and I only got apparently 3 minutes to talk about because my camera's running low on memory. 2 minutes now. Okay, was that now that it's 5 years in the future, remember, everyone else is aged 5 years, does that mean every single person in Peter Parker's class got snapped? Because, think about it, everyone else is 5 years ahead. So if they're all in the same class with Peter still, that means every single one of them got snapped, and now they're all going back to school. It's an interesting thing that I wonder if they'll delve into, because, maybe some people are older because, they were younger, but then they got snapped, they grew 5 years older, then they came back the moment they left. So now that adds a new... I'm interested to see how they handle that. I'm interested to see in the future of this franchise, of what they do with it now that most of the characters are going away. I'm interested into seeing how this all wraps up and how this all turns out. I want to tip my hat to all those who've been with us all this time. Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., Scarlett Johansson, although I still think her movie's going forward, so it's probably going to be a prequel before the Avengers stuff. In any case, I just want to tip all those who have now leaving this franchise. I want to give you a hands. You guys did an amazing job, and it ended in the most perfect way possible. So yeah, I really should have cleared some more space in this thing. I might do another video once I get my editing software back. Maybe do a collaboration with somebody, I don't know. But until then, thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Lazy Dude, and Avengers Assemble. That would have been number 3. That would have been number 3 in epic moments where Steve says Avengers Assemble, because it was about time. I'm just going to keep talking until the camera runs out of juice. Oh yeah, I'll just give this movie I think I prefer Infinity War to this, because Infinity War was, I think, more flawless, where this one had a couple of things where I didn't really care for. But I think this is, overall, I would give it probably like a 9 out of 10. Yeah. I'm interested to see what continues on from this. This is obviously the high point. They're never going to reach this moment again, because, but I still think that they did an amazing job with the point that they got to. Okay, what else? I don't know. I don't know. Thank you, Marvel. Thank you, Kevin Feige. Thank you, all the people who worked on this film. You did an amazing job. I'm just saying, that final climax with all the different Avengers and all the different superheroes from all the different Marvel movies is one of the best climaxes in movie history, not just superhero movie history. For superhero movies, it's all the way to the number 1. For movie history, I think it might be in the top 10. the culmination of over 20 films and over 10 years, over 11 years now of movies. I just don't think this will ever be topped in terms of just raw pulp culture explosion. No matter how many times you try to make your dark universe or whatnot, nobody's ever going to top Marvel in terms of a continuating universe. Well, I had a lot more time than I thought.